Hey folks, it's Brian. So today we're taking a week off from the podcast and bringing you two of our mini episodes. Now, these are episodes that if you sign up on our Patreon at the $5 a month or more tier, you'll get one of these babies every single week. So that's patreon.com/late night. You can sign up over there. All right, enjoy the show, and we'll be back next week with a brand new episode. Check. Can you hear me?
I can indeed hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Listener at home, can you hear us?
Wow. Oh, breaking the third wall.
Yeah, I guess it would be the third wall, wouldn't it?
I was, the moment I said it, I was like, would it be? Maybe it's the only wall, right? There are no, I don't see walls. It's hard to contain my talent.
There are no walls in broadcasting.
No, that's right. And maybe it's we're kind of like from a filmmaking perspective, I guess this is just audio. So it's like the zero, we have no walls.
This is the Dogma 95 of podcasting is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, actually, specifically, this is the Antichrist of podcasting. That's how people refer to me personally. I saw the article going around this week again about Willem Dafoe's fake penis or penis stamp. His penis was too large.
Now, Brian, I get the feeling, based on everything you've ever said, that you're a huge fan of the film Antichrist and you've watched it many, many times.
It's got everything I like in it. It's got extreme psychosexual drama, gore, some kind of crazy fucking fox. It hits all the buttons for me.
What would you say is your favorite scene in Antichrist?
Probably the one where the clown car pulls up to the cabin and 100 Willem Dafoes wearing different outfits pour out and start masturbating.
Yeah, they're all wearing different outfits, but the only continual thing is that they're all Willem Dafoe and all of their penises are out.
Yeah, and they're all smaller than his actual penis.
Yeah.
In fact, if you put 100 of them together, then you get the size of his real penis.
A keen-eyed viewer will note, much like a Where's Waldo, which is the true Dafoe dick.
Yeah, that's right. It's in there. But because they're also all wearing little costumes, it's very hard to tell. But it is the one in the stripy red and white suit with the little hat. No, it comes as no surprise that I have not and will never see Antichrist. Every single thing I've ever read about it has screamed, don't do this to yourself.
I am not a Lars fan. I think he selectively makes some absolutely incredible shit. Melancholia, impeccable. Like I can't argue with that one. Dogville, amazing. Antichrist is insufferable trash.
And it's 2 parts, right?
That are you thinking of Nymphomaniac, which is
you know what? I am.
Parts?
I am thinking of Nymphomaniac. You're correct, yes.
To be fair, I haven't seen Nymphomaniac because the idea of watching Lars make 3 movies on that subject matter is just something I'm not interested in.
Same.
But yeah, Antichrist is a slog, and he has the fucking gall to dedicate it to Andrei Tarkovsky.
Right.
Which feels like such a slap in the face after watching a horrible fucking movie.
Is there anything more pretentious than finding like a great and dedicating your thing to them? Right. It's like, it kind of puts you on the same, I don't know, tier, Trier, as
Trier list.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. A Trier tier list. A Trier list. Yes. That'd be great.
There's only so much longer. Actually, you know what? No, I don't want to get away from this thread. I think we really struck gold there with Trier list.
I do too. I've seen one Trier movie, as far as I know.
Was it
Can
Dancer
you guess
in the Dark?
which one it is? It is not Dancer. Well, did I see? No, I never saw Dancer in the Dark. That's right.
I was going to guess that because it's the musical.
I know, but I've never seen it.
Let's see. What are his other movies?
I saw this in the theater, and it was a long time ago.
Oh, fuck. I don't know.
Breaking Those Waves.
Oh, okay. I've never seen that one. Did you like it?
At the time, I definitely had. I mean, I don't remember is the short answer. I do remember thinking, "Whoa, that's pretty fucked up." Um, and I have not been back. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not like fucked up like some of his other stuff. But I remember
Yeah.
the message being kind of much.
Yeah, the last thing of his that I watched was The House That Jack Built that took me like 3 separate tries over the years to finish, um, just because I would get so mad at him, and
Hmm.
turns out last 20 minutes, banger.
Really?
Like, the rest of it is a miserable slog. It has maybe one of the best scary horror faces of the past
Ooh,
decade,
I do like those.
and then the last 20 minutes just, like, unabashedly rule, and the rest of it sucks. And maybe it's just because the rest of the extremely long movie primes you to be so checked out that by the time the last 20 minutes hit, you're like, "Oh, nice.
Hmm. I have an idea for a triple feature. Are you ready?
Go for it."
The House that Jack Built. What Did Jack Do? And Jack by Francis Ford Coppola.
I would like to suggest a replacement for Jack,
Okay.
Jack and Jill.
The Adam Sandler movie.
Yes.
Let's make it a quadruple feature. You talked me into it. There we go. And then, maybe we could do Jumpin' Jack Flash, the Whoopi Goldberg vehicle from the late 80s, probably, possibly early 90s.
Things don't get called an insert name here vehicle anymore.
No, it's true, actually, right? Yeah, I haven't heard that for a while.
I feel like, the new Ryan Reynolds vehicle, and I'm not talking about the movie If, I'm talking about all of
mm.
his ads for Mint Mobile.
Oh my God. Yes, indeed. Which you've mentioned previously. I was thinking, I got in the car the other day and I was like, "Hey, Rachel, do you remember when Larry Davis, Larry Davis, do you remember when Larry David sold us crypto?" I think about this all the time that he was in those, was it FTX ads or
The
crypto.com?
They were the Super
One of
Bowl
those?
ads, right?
Yeah. Where he's like, it was a don't be like Larry. And I believe someone actually is or tried to sue him for this, for basically like endorsing something that then didn't work out. Although,
Wow, that's a
um,
Curb episode for free, huh?
yeah, pretty much, right? Um, that was disappointing. Although I guess crypto is doing a little better these days, but still.
Yeah, it's a cool guy thing to do. Look, there's only a limited amount of time before I can stop working this phrase into my vocabulary organically,
Hmm.
but, I got to see my foot guy today.
Could you narrow it down? I mean, there are several that you know about, and a lot more that you don't.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that's the kind of reaction I'm looking for in this podcast. A
Uh,
reluctant grunt of assent.
um, yeah, so
So,
today,
do tell.
again, this is on the Patreon and not on the public feed, so I feel fine saying this.
Public feet.
The private feed.
Yeah.
My After I fell off the roof, my father flew out to take care of me and stayed here for, like, almost 6 weeks, and it
Yeah.
was delightful, and he only left yesterday morning.
Hmm.
So now I am on my own with a broken ankle, and I am adjusting.
Hmm.
And because of that, I have to have friends come help me do basic tasks like, I don't know, moving 2 full cups of water from one place to another
Hmm.
or going to the doctor. So Allie came over this morning and took me to my very attractive foot guy,
Your
and I'm glad
photologist.
my photologist, I'm glad that somebody my age and not my father got to experience my hot doctor, and, I'm out of the splint.
Oh, nice. And are the pins out, or I
They're
can't
not.
remember what the timeline
Those
is. Okay.
those come out in 2 weeks,
2 weeks. Okay.
and at that 2-week point, I will then be able to walk.
Wow.
But now I'm just in, like, an ace bandage with gauze to cover the protuberances, and
Okay.
I have a boot.
Nice.
Here, I'm gonna text you the latest
Oh, I can't
pics.
wait. Feet pics. Yummy, yummy.
Yep, feet pics from a 26-year-old. It's looking real crusty.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Give daddy those foot pics. There we are. Here we go. Here we go. Yep, that is a crusty fucking foot.
Yeah. And to be clear, that's mostly iodine and dead skin.
Mm-hmm. The two great tastes.
Yeah. Yeah, but now that
Wait, hold
my
on. How do I get to the other photo? I see. Oh, two angles here. Very. Now this
yeah.
is Dogma 95.
Yeah, showing them
Dog.
dogs.
We
My
said it
95.
exactly at the same time. That's 100% was what I was just about to do. Look at those pins. Those pins are.
They're frightening. I
Yeah.
I am afraid for when they're taken out. I mean, it means that I'll walk, and that means that I can be a person again.
Yeah.
Because right now, I have my peg leg, as I mentioned.
Yep.
That's a weird one to maneuver about
Oh, I
on.
bet.
Like
Uh, sorry.
they're
Go ahead.
weird
Yes.
muscles getting worked out that because you put your leg at a right angle and you put your knee in it and you kind of have to lead with your knee
Mm-hmm.
and it's heavy. It's just a very strange experience. Um, but it makes it so I can walk upstairs.
That's amazing. Look at you.
Now
First time
walk
in like 2
no,
months.
now walking downstairs is a different story.
Do you have to go
But
backwards?
yes, you do have to
Yeah.
go backwards and it's very scary.
Oh, I bet. Because what you don't want to do is fucking fall on it.
Yes.
Now, what do the pins do? Like, because you have some pins in your ankle, which just live there now, right?
Yes.
And then you have these two ones that are sticking out of your foot, which will go away.
Yeah, I think it's
So,
just and the bones on that bit don't need to be held in forever. They just needed to be held in for the 6 weeks or however long
mhm,
it will have been.
mhm.
Um, yeah, I think part of it is because as you can see on the x-rays that like all of my toe bones are hanging off the
Yes.
edge of like the cuneiforms and I think that's there to make it so that is not happening
Hmm.
and then it should be fine. So I don't know. But also, how
Crazy.
sick is it that the little foot bones in there are called cuneiforms?
That is pretty great. I didn't know that.
Getting Mesopotamian in this bitch.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Etched onto the tablet of your foot.
indeed. Yeah. But
Wow.
then Allie kindly drove me back home and we ate food and she made me watch the first couple of episodes of Cyberpunk Edge Runners, the anime.
Hmm.
And I have 2
Okay.
episodes left.
And that takes place in the cyberpunk universe,
It
presumably.
does.
Hmm.
And
And
of
how was it?
course, I'm sitting here just repeatedly saying, "It's just like a video game. That's what happens in the video game." Because they're really
They
accurate
found their audience, huh?
to the video game.
Hmm.
Yeah, I simply cannot resist it. I don't like watching animated media because I think it's the devil's hand
Hmm.
drawing pictures that move. It's unwholesome. Uh no, I just don't generally go
Honestly,
towards animated stuff.
kind of the same these days. I can't remember the last. What was the last animated thing
But you have
I
a child.
watched?
Did you
Well,
watch
yeah, but I'm talking
Nimona?
about non-child things.
Mm.
I feel like it wasn't too long ago, but yeah, I do not like seek it out in the way I used to. Now, you're talking to someone, Layden, who was there in what was probably the heyday of Adult Swim, and I'm talking early Aqua Teen Hunger Force,
Oh,
and that was very influential to
of
me
course it
at
was.
that age. I quoted the Aqua Teen Hunger Force in my PhD thesis.
What was the quote?
Let's see if I can get it exactly. It was from the Moonanites, of course. And it was something like we have so the one of the Moonanites goes Ignignokt, I believe was the name of the Moonanite. You in your 3 dimensions. And then Frylock, I think it's Frylock, says, "What about it? Oh, nothing. It's cute. Well, how many do you have? We have 5,000. Yeah, 5,000. Well, I only see 2. That sounds like a personal problem." And I thought this was relevant to my thesis in a sense because a big part of string theory is extra dimensions that
Mhm.
you can't see. And no one knows if that's right, if it's real, if there are extra dimensions or not. But I thought that was a funny way of acknowledging the existence of extra dimensions while saying if you can't see them, maybe that's just on you.
That's cute. Also, that joke structure feels so Wechtian.
yes, it felt very much like something I would do, which is to say, make an exaggerated claim, have someone come at me for it lightly, and then immediately throw it back in their face.
Yeah, and blame them specifically.
100%. And then never acknowledge at all that I might be wrong or fucking with them.
Beautiful,
Yep.
brilliant.
And yet I've been married for 17 years.
uh so as you may have noticed on the Discord, I popped in and stole Project's thunder on dropping the new Jenny Nicholson video about the Star Wars
Yes.
hotel,
Yes, yes, yes.
uh, which was incredibly rude of me and fucked up
That's fine.
because I didn't scroll like a fool.
It's fine. It's fine.
I know, but how I have to do the classic move of making it about me and how I'm a
No,
bad person.
no. You're the host. You get to do what you want. You have the divine right of hosts, which is you get to steal anything from anyone and claim it as your own.
The divine right of a host. Yeah, that's the title of the mini.
Do you know how I feel about attribution? It's a sucker's game, Layden. Why bother? That's what I say. Content was made to be for everybody, by everybody. And the moment
Dude,
you start...
you can't say that where Harry can hear you.
Yeah, indeed.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, so the new Jenny Nicholson video on the failed Star Wars Star Cruiser, which is 4 hours, and I loved every minute of it, and
It's
immediately
great, huh?
joined her Patreon. But I wanted to bring it up because it's such an interesting misfire. I guess a lot of people had good experiences there, but it
Uh,
just seems so
yes.
baffling. And for that price point,
Yeah,
which
what was it? It was like 5,000 for a weekend or something like that?
for 2 days, $6,000.
Jesus Christ.
And the funny, sad thing is that for Jenny and her sister, it was just like a miserable experience where the game didn't work, and it just
Oh, that's a
seemed
bummer.
so low rent. Um, so yeah, anyway, I bring all of that up to say that's a very expensive price point for somebody, for anybody, let alone somebody who has, like, say, children who want to come experience the Star Wars thing.
Oh, yes.
And you have to like Star Wars a whole lot to be willing to
Mhm.
spend that kind of money.
Correct.
Despite having been a Star Wars child, does not hold true to me
Padawan.
even remotely.
Yeah.
Um, and but this is where I'm coming around to. Is there any immersive experience like that from a fictional property? Not that you'd necessarily be willing to spend $6,000 for 2 days on,
Mhm.
but if there was something that would tempt you to part you with your money in a sort of immersive experience like the Star Cruiser promised, what would get you out the door?
Well, of course, my mind immediately was like, what would be the funny answer? And I went to American Dad, of course. But what would be the actual answer? I mean, do I like any... One thing that happens, Layden, as you age is the stuff I am enthusiastic about is increasingly not like, I don't know. I don't have that same kind of like
Verve,
teenage love
Joie de
for certain
Vivre.
pop culture things. I will say, if there was a Twin Peaks: The Return immersive experience, that I would be very tempted to do. It would probably be scary and spooky, but I think I would love it. Um,
That would
I have
make me like
no...
it more, and I would be angry if
Yeah,
it wasn't scary and spooky. I would need it to commit hard to setting the tone of, "Oh, it's cute and fun," and then really fucked up shit starts happening and doesn't stop.
yeah. The closest thing I can think of something where I was like, "Fuck yes, this rules," is and this is almost a cliche at this point, and maybe even makes me a little capital B basic. The fucking Sleep No More is great, and I loved it, and I love the other Punch Drunk productions that I saw in London. That kind of shit was awesome, and it's just a night at the theater, albeit an immersive theater. But that is a thing I did where I was like, this feels great, and I love it. And that was a while ago now, but although not that long ago, probably the last time I went twice. And I think the last time I went was probably 2017, 2018, something like that. Uh, so yeah, that's close to me. But what else would it be? I'm trying to think. Uh, I don't want to give some crazy answer that would be like not even feasible, you know.
Well, what do you mean by that? What are you thinking that wouldn't be feasible?
Well, something that required a crazy amount of effects that just like I don't know, Pacific Rim. Not that I particularly care about Pacific Rim, but
Mhm.
not going to be walking a fucking, what are the monsters? What are the robots called? Fuck.
Mechs?
Wasn't there another name for them?
I haven't seen Pacific Rim.
I thought there was another name for them. I can't remember what they are. But yeah, something like that where I'm like, okay, they probably couldn't do that. What's your answer? I sense that you might have one. Is it Fallout, perhaps?
It's not actually. And I thought of this because I was thinking, like, with the success of the show and Amazon money behind it, I can totally see them attempting to do something. It wouldn't be on the scale of the Star Wars hotel, and
Yeah.
I've so probably appropriately would have a lower price point, and in which case I would be tempted to, put
Hmm.
on I mean, what am I saying? I've considered going to the annual New Vegas thing that they do in Vegas at the
In
Good
Old
Springs
Vegas.
General
Yeah.
Store,
Yeah.
which would be catastrophic to experience, I think.
Oh, I bet.
Uh, but if they did like a cyberpunk immersive thing,
Hmm.
I would be into it. It would be me
Yeah.
and
That was
Allie
going to be my other answer. Yeah.
in thigh-high boots and with silly makeup on running around.
Hmm.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
But also, I don't like anything enough. I
Yeah,
love
that's the issue.
cyberpunk. I don't love it to the degree that I would drop the kind of money that people were dropping on the Star Wars Star Cruiser.
No, I don't even like anything enough at this stage of my life to go to a con anymore. In fact, that sounds like
Yeah.
a thing that would make me
Bad.
like it less. So,
What the fuck
a-
is my dog doing?
I don't care.
Do you
The what is she doing?
You said you don't care.
No, but everybody else might. I'm looking out for the listener here.
No, it's gonna remain a mystery.
Okay,
Continue what
great.
you were saying.
Um, I feel like going to a con would almost always result in me liking the thing I went to the con for less than
Yes.
than before I went. And that is probably because of I don't know. It's just kind of a gut instinct that says I would find basically all of it annoying and weird. Not
I
weird,
hate
like not
in
off, you know what I'm saying.
Yes, I hate inconvenience. The thing that really
Oh,
strikes me
yes.
about hearing about the Star Wars hotel is that it sounds fucking exhausting. I would be
Yep.
so pissed off, so uncomfortable, even if everything went perfectly, of just like, oh, there's gonna be dynamic encounters in the hall, and like, I've got
Yeah.
to be here at a scheduled time for story events, and I
Yep.
can't like fuck off and nap. And oh, everybody's in character. Like, no, that sounds horrible. That sounds like
Yeah.
a horror. Like, haha, funny, love doing bits and having fun, but, not that much. I can do it for, like, an hour out of every
Yeah.
24, not, 2 full days feeling like you have to do it to get your money's worth.
Yeah. No, 100%. Well, the one thing I was thinking about recently. So, we went to the Ren Fair this weekend, as I texted you
I did see the very cute pictures of it.
the the pictures, which it was very fun. Um, but
What's the hot,
the
miserable, dusty rating?
not hot actually at all. Like very pleasant temperature. I was in jeans and it was great. So
Oh,
like shockingly not hot. Mildly dusty.
okay.
And
Parking?
Miss Parking, we got there before it opened and had no problems. Like it was
Okay,
maybe
nice.
a 10-minute walk from our car to the entrance. Very easy. Maybe even less. So great. No problem at all. We got there as it opened, and so it started out not that crowded and then got disgustingly so as the day
Mm.
went on. But what I was thinking about was my tolerance for overly performative bullshit is basically on the fucking floor right now. And it is a subtle difference between a thing that is cool and awesome and someone really going for it, and a thing that makes me want to avert my eyes and crumple to the ground. Uh, and it's, there's a lot in the Ren Fair of of people performing,
Mhm.
and some of it's great, and some of it is like, oh my god, please stop. Uh, and it's a very, very fine line. And I've been thinking a lot about that. Like, it's if something feels too performative to me,
Mhm.
I'm out. And which is weird because I love musicals and theater, and that's not what I'm talking. Some people say I don't like musicals because it feels too performative. That's not quite the thing I'm saying. So maybe performative isn't the right word, but
And
I,
it sounds like the level of earnest does not factor in, or it does. Does
I
it?
I think honestly, what I'm drilling down to is how well acted it is more than anything.
Right.
Like
Don't
how
subject me to this if it's bad.
if I were, said rudely, yes, pretty much. Um,
Well, no, I'm living with this every week because I have to hear someone who comes to outside my apartment and plays an instrument badly. And I've been
mm,
dealing with that for like several months now.
mhm.
And I beg of thee, please
Yeah, but
stop.
it yes, I totally get it. It is much more forgivable when it's like a younger person who's learning, right?
Mhm.
And then it's fine. Like, I don't, Audrey plays piano. She's not great at it, but she's fucking 10. Who cares? Like, that's the point. It doesn't bother me. But I don't know. It's
I understand what you're saying and also the tiptoeing because you don't want to be a dick and it's not like there's a certain level where you can write it off. But there's also a level where it's like, don't pull the rest of us into this.
uh,
Don't make me be party to
yeah,
this.
and I think maybe tell me what you think about this. Maybe the crucial factor is when I feel like the performance is something that the person performing is getting more out of than the person watching, that's when it tips to like, I don't know about this. You know
I
what I mean?
I think maybe my level on that and the thing that really bugs me is when it's somebody who is not good who thinks they are crushing it.
Well, that's amazing. That is one of my favorite things.
I mean, yeah, there are situations in which that's good, but there are situations in which, like, maybe if you have the context of this person is always like this and just thinks they're better than everybody, and
Yeah,
this is a
no,
level of like
that is
this
bad.
is
Yeah.
yeah. And I say this as somebody who's been serenaded
Mm,
directly by
mm,
men
mm,
several times,
mm,
and it
mm.
when the confidence is high and the skill is low, and
I remember this is triggering a memory that we've talked about this. I
mhm.
love the idea of someone serenading you who would be way up on my list of people who would not respond well to being serenaded.
Yes, especially if the songs are songs from anime.
Oh, that delivery was very good.
Thank
Very
you. I'm
good
not gonna
indeed.
specify further. Just
I This reminds me of a story, if I may.
yeah, please.
Uh I was dating this girl, and she was shall we say on the edgy side. And I
Oh,
have
alright.
talked about this girl on the show in the past in an episode called Why Can't Your Alone Time Include Me?
Oh god.
This is that girl. And we at some point early on, when I think we had just started dating, we went back to my place, and which of course was a graduate student apartment at the
Mhm.
time, so not a sexy place. And I put on some music as things were getting rolling, and I can't even remember. Oh, actually, I do know what started playing. One of my favorite albums. It's is it just called John Coltrane and Johnny Hartman? It's a jazz album, and it's like ballads. And I didn't
Okay.
pick this to play. It was just on. I just put it on. And this girl was like, I'm out. The music started and she immediately was like, nope. And I was like, excuse, by the way, a portent of things to come. Um, and I was like, what? And she's like, I can't handle this like romantic bullshit. And this is not like, I mean, if you listen to this album, it's a great album. It is pretty like capital R romantic. And I can't even remember what I put on instead, but she wanted like, you know, something heavy distortion rock, kind of something like that. So, and again, this should have been a warning sign, but was not.
This is like there was similar story, similar setup, certainly more modern milieu with Spotify at hand,
Mhm.
college aged Leighton, where I was like, "Do you want to listen to some music? Do you want to put some music on?" And he was like, "Oh, I don't know, like whatever." And I was like, "You don't have like a thing that you want to listen? You just want to do this in silence?" And he was like, "No, no, like you could put on like Arcade Fire." uh this is after I was like, he was like, I feel like you're gonna judge me. And I was like, no, 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 I'm not gonna judge you. And then he suggested Arcade Fire, and then I absolutely judged him for it.
What's the right answer? What would have been a better answer for you?
Coming from a very Midwestern yellow American spirits hipster, blah blah, saying Arcade Fire was just like, and that is exactly what I should have expected you to say.
Mhm.
Uh No, there would have been no correct answer. It's
Okay,
just the
great.
kind of thing, and maybe this is additionally colored by how that ended up going. Spoiler, not great. Uh, it yeah, and I say
I
I like Arcade Fire. It's just if you're first, like, right off the bat, what do you wanna make out to? Is Arcade Fire? I don't know about it.
Yeah, I think that's 100% valid. I do like the power move of being like, "No, silence. I wanna hear all your noises." And then it's just a bunch of, like, wet slapping and, like, rustles and that is truly terrible.
Yeah, that would be, yeah. But then, you also run into the, like, you the I have to skip this song because this is just not the vibe, and
Mhm,
now this is revealing more of my own neuroticism of just like, "1 second, 1 second, 1 second, hold on, I gotta skip this one. Not
mhm.
this one either. This one though,
Yeah.
okay, good."
That's why you need a go-to playlist, like, for exactly this purpose. Now look, I am well beyond this point in my life. I have been for a long
No,
time.
no, but look, you can have the playlist, but sometimes it's not consistent
Oh, that's
in
true, that's true.
what it's
Okay,
hitting
fair
you
enough.
with or when. Sometimes it's simply not the vibe,
Yep.
but also constantly interrupting to fiddle with the music is not the vibe as demonstrated repeatedly throughout my life. So,
Although,
ah,
if
the
whoa.
ALEXA heard me.
Oh, I thought I heard something. Uh, the thing you wanna do is you're not messing with the song choices, you're messing with the EQ. That is something that a romantic partner would love. It's just like, "Hold on, I gotta turn down the 4Ks
And you're
on
doing it,
this."
like,
Like,
sensually also.
yeah, that's right. And you've got the thing behind you. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good move. That's hot.
Yeah.
Boost those subs, baby. Get those 40Ks bumping. No, not 40Ks. What am I talking about? 40 hertz.
Wow. Um,
Yep. Meowch, by the way, was busting some subs uh on stage during the twerp show. There was a moment in the Toronto show where he hit some note that you could feel the sub on it. It was fucking awesome.
wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes.
Ma'am,
There's your dog.
there she is. She got very attached to my dad, and now I think
Oh.
she thinks that everybody outside is my dad coming back.
Oh, that's right. She likes bearded men, right?
Yes, she does,
Hmm.
and is a misogynist. Aren't you?
Yeah.
Aren't you? Come here. Come here. Please come here so you can stop.
Come to a woman? Never.
Yeah, this is
classic women not supporting other women is what that is.
this is the additional, I can't ambulate or carry things if I ambulate unless I have strapped a device onto my body.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, another thing that happened when I was going to see my foot guy is, and right
Again, you're
before,
going to have to narrow it down. Which one?
yeah, and right before I went to my doctor,
Oh, okay.
I
Great.
was,
Yeah.
we were valet parking because that's the only kind that you can do at this place. And
Really? Wow.
Yeah, well, I'm certainly not trusting it again. Anyway, but I have my little bag on my crutches, right? And I was
Mm-hmm.
Allie and I were going to get the crutches out of the back seat of Allie's car, and the attendant opened it and pulled the crutches out, trying to be helpful. God bless. Dumped my entire bag over, and my phone, switch, wallet, and a fun size package of Rolos that I didn't know were in there went skittering across the ground. And my Switch is damaged now.
Oh, no. It got damaged in that?
It did, yeah.
Fuck. That sucks.
And I also couldn't bend down to pick things up, so the guy was just kind of scraping them up and put them back in the car, and I was like, no, I need them back in the bag.
Bummer.
So it's not, there's a tiny little nick on the screen, there's some on the housing, and then my left Joy-Con is road burned. It's fine, it's all functional. It could have been worse, but come on, man, just leave my crutches alone. Let me get it.
It's hard out here for a gamer.
It is hard out here for a gamer. You're right.
I was debating. Well, I'm sorry to hear about your console.
Are you consoling me about it?
I am. Well, do we want to talk about this?
I don't know. It sounds like you want to talk about it.
Well, I don't. It occurred to me. Okay.
I said I was intentional about my choice of words, Brian.
I'm going to say this. All right. So
but you have to own it.
Yeah, of course. On our group Discord with people, no names, someone said, "Hey, does anyone want a game?" And another person said, "I'm playing with a friend whose mother just died, but thank you." Other person says, "Fair enough, buddy. Consoling and gaming." And then I put,
Hold on.
Yes.
There's the backstory of
yes.
this.
Okay. I craft a response to this. Fair enough, buddy. Consoling and gaming. I start to type, I personally prefer PC gaming. And I'm like, feel like this might not be the move right now. So I text you and Jory with this in the message window, but unsent on the message line. Is that, what would you call that? Message line? The text line? Whatever.
I guess.
I type it in, but I don't hit enter. And I screenshot it and send it to you and Jory and say, what? Is this in poor taste or something like that? And we all agree that it is probably in poor taste, but also funny. And then after stewing on it for, I don't know, let's see. Oh, I can see the timestamps. About an hour and a half, I hit send. No regrets.
Yeah. And
now I will say there was another response here, which maybe you want to talk about.
Do I?
Do you? I don't know.
Which are you talking about?
I'm talking about me getting mildly owned about 2 lines later.
Yeah. Brian was beaten at his own game.
Do you want to explain this?
I don't know.
All right, I'll just fucking say it because now we need to tell people. Another person says, so then some gaming happens. Person types in, my PC froze, so I had to suffocate it with the power button. Thanks for gaming. And then the person they were gaming with said, that's why consoling gaming is better, Brian.
With a tilde, too.
Yes.
And this is after, in the separate text with Jory and Brian, I said that this is going to die unacknowledged.
That's right.
In the chat, as Brian's bits usually do.
Yeah, as they should. In a Just universe, they do. But also, when you texted me and Jory to say that I just got beaten at my own game, a text you sent uncharacteristically late for you
You're
at
right.
12:30. And you might wonder why I know what time it was. It's because I was asleep with headphones in and I'd forgotten to turn on Do Not Disturb. And I was woken up by my phone saying, Leighton texted, "You got beaten at your own game here, Brian." And then I was up for about an hour.
Double whammy.
Yeah. So
Wait,
it's my own fucking.
You
I have
have
to
a thing
turn on.
where your headphones read your texts to you?
Yes, I guess it's just an option I didn't bother to turn off, and sometimes it's useful. I should
That would
probably
drive
turn
me
it off though.
crazy.
It's definitely annoying, and I don't like it, but I've never
I'm glad that I got to
remembered it long enough to
contribute
turn it off. But yes,
to it.
your text 100% woke me up, and this is not unusual because I always fucking forget to turn on Do Not Disturb.
Well, anyway, that was a great anecdote.
Yep, and that's a great mini.
Oh, wow. See you folks on Friday.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. Oh my goodness. A mini?
It's a mini, and I'm back home.
Welcome back home, Brian.
Thank you. It's good to be here. I've been home for less than 24 hours, and already I'm fucking podcasting.
Hey, that's the podcasting lifestyle.
That's right.
How does it feel
to be podcasting? Great.
Did your child remember you?
Oh, yes. They picked me up at LAX, and she basically collapsed onto me. It was very sweet. So
Wow.
she was kind of nuts last night. So they got me around 6:00, and we came home and hung out and had dinner and watched Bluey. And she was just bouncing off the walls. She's very excited.
Yeah, of course. That's really nice. I'm sure that was fun.
It is. Yeah, I miss that kid. And she already, 6 weeks is a long time, and she'll be 10 in like a week.
That's crazy.
Crazy. And she's getting big. She's getting bigger. So I can see she's still very, she's still little, but she's going to be a teenager before we know it.
Did we I feel like I asked you what I should get her for her birthday. What was it? It was like makeup-y or a mirror?
Makeup stuff would be great. She'd love anything like that.
Okay.
I mean, maybe you had a specific thought, but
I think I was talking about getting like a little lighted mirror.
Oh yeah, like
she
a little
could
vanity thing. I think
customize,
she'd
yeah.
love that. Yep. You can't go wrong with that, with Minecraft.
Yeah, there are companies that do makeup collabs with like licensed stuff, so I can see if I can find some video game makeup.
Oh, she would love that. Love it. Like a little Zelda, vanity would
I
blow her
bet
mind.
somebody, ooh, there's a Pokemon lip balm.
She doesn't care about that so much. She's
Yeah,
not super. She has like a few cards, but that's about it.
The Twilight collection on ColourPop. Amazing.
Oh, perfect. Get that for me.
Yeah, I know that you want that bad.
I'm definitely Team Gerald when it comes to Twilight.
Yeah, Gerald really comes out on top always.
He was the one that the top half is vampire and the lower half is werewolf.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How would that? Are you like if you're top half vampire? I'm assuming that's all the time, but then bottom half is werewolf only during a full moon.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
and it's the waist. It's not the center of mass. It's like your waist, right?
Right.
So it's like you got that. You get the werewolf genitals. I was about to say you got that werewolf dick, but then I decided to be more inclusive.
Sure. Yes, that's true.
Yeah. Due to my wokeness.
Right. So does the blood just cease traveling? Because you've got vampire up there, which I assume your blood ain't moving around.
I would assume you are 100% vampire all the time, and then the lower half transitions to werewolf at the full moon, right? It's not like the lower half is not vampire. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Interesting.
Right.
This is the kind of hard-hitting mythical figure discussion that we've really been sorely missing out on
Does something like that happen in Twilight where they get like a half vampire, half werewolf? Or is that like an underworld fucking thing?
Um,
Underworld, a movie I saw the first of, and then there's like 3 more or something.
well, I don't want to give you spoilers for Breaking Dawn.
Oh, that's right,
The
'cause we
answer
might
is
see it.
no, but there are things that
Mhm.
happen.
Mhm.
There are things that happen is my universal summary of media.
Great. Well, we talked about doing that for our next movie club.
Or
The
Bad
next
Book Club.
or bad book, sorry, that's what it was. Yes, for the next bad book.
You know, I
Um,
was reading a true crime book and it was really chapping my ass
oh,
because
tell me.
it was doing the Dan Brown isms of like it's one thing if you're a fiction writer and you're doing that like I must introduce every woman with her attractiveness and weight.
Body type, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like that in fiction it's annoying. And then when it's nonfiction, especially when it's like people around a murderer. Uh, uh, what are you doing? That's a real person. What are
Mhm.
you doing?
Yeah. I think I mean, it's such a known, dumb trope, but when the dumbest version of this is when, women are introduced by their hair color, you
The
know? The
brunette.
brunette walked into the room, which is something that is never done for male characters, ever.
Yeah.
Referred to as definite article hair color,
The
right?
blonde.
The blonde. And also, what's interesting is that's only ever you never hear what's the equivalent of someone with gray hair, right? There's a brunette,
This
there's a blonde. They're all young enough to be sexually viable, right?
right. I mean, I
But
guess Silver Fox is the closest thing, but it's not like the Silver Fox walked into the room.
that's I only hear that used for male characters, right?
I guess, yeah.
I don't think people typically use that for women.
Yeah,
Although I
that's
could be
true.
wrong.
I was really teeing you up. I was lobbing it so you could say that people only say it in regards to you.
Well, that is true. I did have a friend. I was texting with a friend today who has the Trey album on her wall, along with it's
Aw.
in like an array of vinyl and stuff.
Mhm.
And she said that uh, someone she was on a video call with was like, "Hey, who's that on that album cover? Is that George Michael or Brad Pitt?"
Oh, man.
And
You're never gonna let that one go, huh?
well, I said I'm putting it on my CV. Was once mistaken for Brad Pitt. Over Zoom at a distance by unknown person. But
Brad
that
Pitt's
the
new
George
jazz
Michael or
album.
Brad, yeah, that's famous saxophone player Brad Pitt.
Mhm.
Brad Licks Pitt would be his nickname. Also his fetish. But that's a compliment. George Michael, Brad Pitt, two hot dudes.
Yeah, very true. Well, good for you. That must have made your year.
It did. It's the nicest thing anyone has ever or will ever say to me.
So since we last spoke, you've been to a few more cities. What cities have you gone to?
Well, let's see. We spoke from Baltimore, I believe. And that means we had a bunch of up the East Coast. So let's see. We did uh Philly. Was that after? Yeah, I guess that was after Baltimore. Philly, New York, Boston, Burlington,
Mm,
Cleveland, Columbus, and the T dot, Toronto, with a few days off. And
Jesus.
you and Jory were roasting me for my Burlington texts.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, all over, and lots of friends in all of these cities except the Ohio ones. But I, my sister came to the New York one. That was great. Bunch of other friends, people I haven't seen in a long time. Boston had a college friend I haven't seen in like 30 years. So that was great. It was just like all really fun shows. Let's see, unusual or weird things or interesting things I did. I went to the Cleveland Museum of Art, which was fucking awesome. Crazy good museum.
How many
Crazy good
comes did you
museum.
get out of that one?
A gentleman never jerks off and tells. But
All right.
let's say
Keep
more
keep your
than
secrets.
more than 5. Let's say that's
Okay.
my body count or my canvas count.
All right.
What anything else interesting in there? Let me think. It was pretty chill. Honestly, I didn't really go out too much in any of those cities. In Columbus, I did get annihilated with rain. It was the only really rainy day of the tour. And as I was the venue there, if the venue doesn't have a shower, we'll typically get a hotel room so people can shower.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky, it's close to the venue. If you're not, it's not. And there, the day room was like a 10-minute walk away. And I was walking back, and about 5 minutes into my walk, the weather went from a very light, barely a sprinkle, to a drenching downpour, and I
Oof.
got destroyed with rain. And the venue also did not have a shower or laundry or a dryer, so I was pretty wet. Oh, wait. I do have a story for you. And it's a Columbus story. Okay. So I actually have to this was so interesting to me that I wrote down some notes. So I'm
Wow.
going
Okay. I
to
am
here.
eager to hear this.
Here's actually a note I sent to myself yesterday. I want to become president of the ISS so I can use the acronym PISS to describe my job. Okay, moving on from that. It's like POTUS, but it's PISS.
Yeah.
Okay, so in Columbus, Ohio, which we were actually, as I understand it, in the cool part of, I've now had 2 experiences in Columbus. One was last tour with NSP, where we were not in a cool part. And this part, we were in at the Short North, I think it's called, or the Arts District. Maybe those are kind of the same thing. It's a cool part of town. Lots of little coffee shops, looking hip, bookstores. So I do my sound check, kind of dry off after getting drenched with rain. And then I go, while Twerp's doing their VIP thing, I go for sushi. Now, I'll give you an uninteresting detail first, but maybe it's illustrative of Columbus. Find a
Okay.
well-rated sushi spot right across the street from the venue. I go in there. It smells like complete shit. Like, smells awful. And
Yes, Ohio, famous for being surrounded by beaches on all sides.
yes. So, nevertheless, you can get good sushi. Lots of places that aren't coastal, so whatever. So I left this sushi place and I walked to one that's a couple blocks away. Also well-related. Fuck. My brain. I've been on tour too long lately. My brain is just like mush now.
Understandable.
My brain is mush, but my dick is hard as hell.
That's like the official motto of this podcast.
Yeah. So I go to a sushi place a couple blocks away, and it's early. It's like slightly before 6, so it's not crowded. They sit me at the counter. It's a small place, little sushi bar, and they seat me at a counter. And there's like a young couple, a guy and a girl, on my left, and to my right there is a full margarita and an earbud case. And it's just sitting there, and there's nobody
Oh.
next to it. And the guy on my left is having like a broy conversation with the broy bartender. Okay. And
All
they're
right.
talking about, like they were both chemistry majors, and did you know, but it was like the broiest version of that conversation. Anyway, that goes on for a while. I don't get involved because why would I? So I order my food, takes a minute, comes out. The drink is still unclaimed on my right. The bartender dumps it, takes the earpod case. This dude, a couple minutes later, while I've been eating, so this is maybe 20 minutes since I've been there. Guy comes back up. He's wearing a sky blue polo shirt, big gold watch, probably 40-ish, white guy. And he looks at the bartender. He's like, "Yo, what happened?" And the bartender's like, "Hey, man, sorry, you were gone for like 20 minutes, so I thought you weren't coming back." And this guy's like, "Oh shit, man, I'm so sorry. Like, my friend called, and he's been really going through it recently. And then I was outside taking the call, and I saw my buddies. So, I got to hug up on him." And this is when I realized this is going to be the best conversation I've ever heard. And the bartender, he's like a muscly dude, like shaved head, goatee, kind of a little broy vibe. Also, the same bartender fist bumped me when I ordered. I was like,
Oh
"I'll
my
have
God.
this bowl." And he's like, "Yo, bro, awesome choice." pounded in.
You gotta
So
you gotta bump up on him.
yeah, exactly.
Wait,
So
was pounded in the phrase?
no, but I have actually been using the phrase pounded in occasionally, which I really like.
Yeah, I like that too. I'm gonna steal that.
So the guy who has recently returned, let's give him a name for the purposes of this story. What's a good, like, broy white guy
Chad.
name? Chad. Great. Love it. So Chad comes back and he's talking to the bartender. And so he sits down. The bartender's like, no, no worries, dude. I'll pour you another drink. No problem. And also, it's a margarita, but the bartender's like, no triple sec, same as last time. And Chad's like, fuck yeah, man. You know it. Which, okay, is a third of the ingredients for a margarita, but whatever, people like what they like. So this guy gets a margarita, which presumably is just tequila and lime, but okay.
Yeah.
But salt on the rim, all that stuff. Also, it's a sushi bar, and the guy's ordering a margarita, which is
That's a choice.
nuts, but fine. So he's talking to the bartender, and Chad's like, yo, man, I just like, here's my nightly schedule. Like, I am a tequila nut. I can't go out. Like, every night before I go out, I have my glass of reposado, got that reposado, got to get the good stuff. And he's like, like, I love, and this is exactly how he said it. He's like, I love Jose Corvo.
Oh man.
And
And
also the accent here, it was, I don't know if it's an Ohio thing or it's like a bro thing, but it was kind of like, it's kind of this accent. He was like, yeah, bro. So I love this, like, Jose Corvo. And it was kind of here is the way they were all talking. And so they go through a few minutes of like tequila chat. I'm desperately trying not to look at this guy, because I'm like, the moment I even glance over there, I'm gonna get drawn into this conversation. Yo, dude, you like tequila? Fuck yeah, man, pound it in. So they're talking about tequila, and then the conversation moves on to what the guy wants to eat. And he's talking to the sushi chef, different person, the bartender, but who's right there. He's like, yo, man, what's good? What's going on? What's happening here tonight? And the chef goes, oh yeah, so actually I have a halibut. I think it was a halibut. Halibut's really good. Might be confusing the fish, but whatever. I have a halibut's really good, and actually I had two, but I kind of messed the first one up, so that's not available. And Chad goes, rookie move. And the sushi chef is like, what? But keeps talking. And he's like, yeah, I've got this, I think he called it a horse halibut, but I could be mishearing. Got this horse halibut coming in tomorrow. And Chad goes, yo, I gotta reserve that. And the chef's like, well, you can't reserve it. If you come in, you can like order it. And Chad's like, no, man, I gotta reserve. I gotta get some of that horse halibut. Is it dope? And the chef's like, yeah, it's really good, but you can't reserve it. You can just come in and order it. And then Chad goes, and this is exact quote. This is the first thing I emailed myself. Chad goes, I thought I understood the sushi game. And I was like, now picture me grabbing my phone off the counter and under the counter texting myself, I thought I understood the sushi game. Because I was like, what is going on? I thought I understood the sushi game. And the guy's like, yeah, man, sorry, if you come in, you can get it. And Chad's like, fuck, man, I'm busy tomorrow. Can't do it. And the guy's, the chef is like, well, I think we might get it in another day. And in a phrase that I guess is popular now, and I heard several times in this tour, but I have not heard up until this point, Chad starts going, brother, say less, say less, say less, which I guess is have you heard people say this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
but I haven't heard it used in place of like shut up.
Yeah, well, it wasn't being exactly a dick about, like, there's a version of this where the guy's an asshole. He wasn't an asshole, he was just a total bro. Right.
Yeah.
But I feel like it came from a place of like, I got you. I understand what you're saying. No sweat. But yeah, that happened a few times. Say less. Say less, brother. Say less. I got it. And then I finished and left the sushi bar. But that was my sushi bar experience in Columbus, Ohio. And I now have an email to myself where the first line is, "I thought I understood the sushi game." It was
That's such
so
a
great.
beautiful thing. And you
Yeah.
didn't interact with them the rest of the time. That was it.
He was immediately to my right. I mean, next to me. And I was desperate not to make eye contact with this person. I just wanted to eat my sushi and get back to the venue. And yeah,
Was the landlocked sushi good?
actually, the sushi was fucking awesome. Shockingly, it was
Okay.
like really, really good. I ordered 2 things. I had like a Donburi bowl, which was really good, and then a thing which was like kind of like a crispy rice, a sandwich, but the bread was crispy rice with like crab meat inside and like a dipping
Okay.
sauce.
All
And the dipping
right.
sauce, by the way, when I ordered this thing, the bartender's like, "Dude, that dipping sauce changed your life."
I want to go here. I want to be a regular at this Ohio sushi spot.
Yep. For those of you in the area, it was called, I believe, Domo Sushi. In Columbus, Ohio, on High Street, I think is the street. Um, yeah, and you'll probably find Chad there chilling at the bar with his triple sickless margarita, triple sackless, margarita, pounding it in with the bartender.
You telling me this story about emailing yourself, I love eavesdropping and writing down what people say.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the best one I ever had, I didn't remember where I had put the note where I wrote it all down. And as you were telling that story, I found it. Um, so
Tell
here's
me
my
everything.
Chad.
Yeah.
The year was probably 2018. And I am flying back from Portland to LA.
Mm-hmm.
And I have taken an edible. And I am sitting on, like, sometimes they have the seat that's right behind the exit aisle where there's only like aisle in middle and then
Yes.
like there's the curve. I was
Yes.
on the like straddling the aisle, like full view ahead of
Mm-hmm.
you seat.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Great.
captain was this very southern, like extremely southern gentleman. And the edible was kicking in and he was, giving the little speech, but it felt like he was directing it right at me because that's how I was. But we've been like sitting there for a while and everyone's seated, everyone's getting cozy. And then this like young guy bustles in, having been late, and is like, having to climb over the other people in his seat to get in and is like trying to find a place to put his bag. But he's on the phone the whole time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we were getting ready to start taxiing and he's still on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what he was saying is the best conversation I've ever heard in my life. So this is a bunch of disconnected things. But just to give you a sense, the first thing I hear him say is culture is like a microcosm of society. Like, but don't go to all the basic spots in London. Do it like not for the tourists, but like for purists.
Not for tourists, but for purists.
Yeah. Next.
Amazing.
LA is kind of like stuck in a rut. NYC is the place to be, man. It's the most relevant right now. I mean, like Supreme is in New York. And supposedly, I guess, the other person.
This is like 5 years ago.
Yes. And the fact that the level to which all of these statements are disconnected, it is an accurate representation of the side of the call I was hearing.
Mm-hmm.
So next, what is he, with a bunch of thotties on a boat? I came here and I slammed a few beers before I came into the airport and I really had to piss. Like my bladder was burgeoning.
Burgeoning?
Yes.
Wow.
That's the phrase that I remembered to search to find it.
My
Because
bladder
that
is
one,
burgeoning. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's in my personal, like, it's kind of like we are a product of what we consume. And I like to not like limit my consumption. But then again, novel doesn't mean it has to be new. It just has to be genuine. Everything is built on the shoulders of giants. And why build on the ground when you could stand on the shoulders of giants? So that's what I'm trying to like. People think when I talk about culture, like I'm being trivial, but we're surviving. Man is neither beast nor God,
What the fuck?
It keeps going.
This is amazing.
How do you wipe your ass? In the Middle East, they use like faucets to spray on their butts, and I think that's gross. But then we use dry toilet paper in the States. So actually, what I use are baby wipes because you have the perfect combination of the moisture and texture and disinfectant. It's a cultural thing, man. Culture is just choosing the best way to live.
That's Incredible.
I
Ultra is
wouldn't call
just choosing
myself
the best way to live.
I wouldn't call myself liberal. I would call myself progressive. Like, I'd be open to conservative ideas if they led to progress. And then he's signing off the call. Big tubular. Later, man.
Big tubular? That's wow.
So then we still have not taken off yet. And like,
Wait,
this is the point.
describe what this person looks like.
Blonde. I don't remember much what he looked like.
Ish.
Just a young bro in the
young bro. Right.
like 20s bro.
Yeah.
And he continues making more calls. And so I gather that he's trying to get a last minute gig at a random bar anywhere in LA, and he desperately needs help.
Like tending bar.
No, like playing a show.
Oh.
Because he's a musician.
Oh, I think did you say that before?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Because this is the part where I find this out. And also, I am so high during this. Like, I cannot believe what I'm hearing. And he's on a new call, and he gets very emphatic. I mean, the plane is silent except for this guy. Wow. And he goes, dude, Aria is so fucking annoying. I posted a comment, but then it happened multiple times. How's that my fault? And he's still trying to negotiate getting a table. Like, money is not necessary. Even free drinks or a table for my friends, you know? And then the final line, as this conversation has heated up, as he's not getting somewhere. Dude, do you want to chill at a free table or not? Then help me secure the fucking bag.
The bag? Now it sounds like he's in a heist.
Yeah. So I believe he had a bag of gear that he was trying to get to a random bar in LA. But wow, I had not read that documentation of that experience in many years. So
bro accent too.
Thank you. Big tubular, man.
Big tubular, bro. The heist thing reminds me, I watched a movie that I fucking hated recently.
Go off.
Baby Driver.
Thank you.
Bad.
Thank you.
Straight up bad. I like Edgar Wright a lot. Big fan. I've been meaning to watch this for a long time. I get to Canada. It is, it's like we cross the border early in the morning. I get to my Airbnb, which I texted you something interesting about, which I'll talk about in a moment. And I pull up Netflix, and I'm like, okay, what am I going to see? Baby Driver thumbnail pops up. I got algorithmed. I was like, fuck yeah. Been meaning to watch it. Let's do it. I hated this movie. Yeah, a lot of actors. I like it. I like John Hamm.
And your favorite Kevin Spacey?
I was gonna say I've been a huge fan of Kevin Spacey for years, and then he shows up on screen. He's also an actor. Who knew? No, obviously he's a complete monster. And so that that's coloring things a bit, but
no. But okay,
but whatever. I just thought that movie was it wasn't even particularly well shot for an Edgar Wright movie. Nothing about it was interesting. There was some cool stunt driving and stuff, but
for a movie where the whole thing is like, oh, it's all synchronized and edited to the music.
Pick
better music.
Pick better music. And also, like, I don't know, even the synchronization was sometimes I felt like it just didn't really work. Like, it generally worked, but sometimes it didn't. But that your movie is named after a character. But is it a character? No. It is a person who drives a car, and he has a completely implausible relationship with what's her name? Lily James as that waitress, Deborah. And I like Lily James a lot. I think she's great. But why the fuck? She's willing to run away with this guy? They've known each other for like 2 days. Is that supposed to be romantic? I didn't buy anything about it.
Yeah. I guess I think I hate a Getaway Driver movie, and now we've come back around to I fucking hate Drive 2011, and I also hate Baby Driver, because Baby Driver came next and just feels like it's eating Drive's lunch to a degree, but Drive's lunch was already rancid.
Yeah, it's and it's like 2 hours long. It's really long too for an action movie. The action wasn't even that interesting. Yeah, I I gave it a chance again. Edgar Wright. I was like, this has to get better. And then I felt like it's just this. It's also the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Um, and yes, pick better music. Music choices. The needle drops were dumb,
I
generally
seem to
speaking.
recall, am I remembering correctly that they play like 30 seconds of
Boards of Canada.
no. Oh my
They
god.
they do play a Boards of Canada song, which I clocked immediately and Googled it because I was like, "Is that what's his name?" It's like Ready Set Go or something. By Boards of Canada. Sorry, what were you going to say?
They play like 30 seconds of a Run the Jewels song and then change the radio station. It's
I
like you could
think
have
that's I think that's right. I think that's right.
yeah, like, I was so infuriated by that. It's like, "Oh, wow, we're gonna get a good s" No, we're not. Okay.
They
That's
use
just cruel.
they use a particular Boards of Canada song, which is just kind of it's not during driving. I think it's just kind of in the background. And I was like, it's one of those very distinctive like synth sounds that they use.
Mhm.
And they they play one part of the song and then move away. But I yeah, I hated that movie. I haven't seen a movie that I disliked that much in quite a while. Um,
Well,
so
congratulations.
thank you very much. So instead and then I started watching Baby Reindeer.
Oh, are you enjoying it?
Well, does one enjoy Baby Reindeer?
You're right.
Did
Yeah,
you watch
yeah.
it?
No, I haven't watched it yet, but I am excited to watch it. As excited as you can be about the subject matter.
Yeah. I've finished it. Um, I thought it was fantastic. It's
Okay.
hard to watch, as people said, and there's one episode in particular which is awful. Um,
Right, yeah.
but I thought it was really well done and worth watching, although possibly very upsetting.
Yes, yeah. That sounds about right.
But I think it deserves the hype. It certainly is the kind of thing that has stayed with me. I mean, it's like 2 days since I've seen it,
Right.
but I do recommend it if you think you can handle,
Yeah,
stalkery, sexual assault, stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
but yeah, and it typically I don't watch a lot of stuff like that,
Mhm.
meaning that deals with that kind of subject matter. Uh, but I thought it was very well done. I mean, it's definitely a dark comedy.
Yeah.
It's very funny at points. Um, I thought all the acting was fantastic. Especially the stalker woman. I forget the name of the actress who plays her, but she was great. Oh my god. I mean, a really stunning performance. And just interestingly shot. I thought it was great.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it. Aaron and Susie were telling me to watch it, and so has the entire internet.
Yes. Well, I was watching it the same time a couple of the other guys in Torp were watching it, and yeah, it's like I think we all got to Toronto, turned on Netflix, and started watching something.
Yeah, that makes
So,
sense.
yep. Trying to think what and is it anything else interesting happening? Oh, my fucking brain right now.
Brain mush,
No,
dick hard.
well, yeah. I mean, you know it. Uh, Actually, Dick got harder weirdly as the brain
Hmm.
got mushier. Hmm.
That seems like you should get it checked by a medical professional.
Yeah, although my usual doctor only hangs out in his alley at night, so
Fair
maybe
enough.
I'll text him. Um, the just the I had such a great time on this tour. Uh, it was in Toronto, met a bunch of pod people as I've
Oh,
come to
amazing.
call them. And that was great. There was one show I think I texted you where I think it was Syracuse. Actually, there was just a whole group. It felt like there were like 10 people in a row. We're like, I love the podcast. I love the podcast. And it was so nice. Saw a bunch of Stay Safe Come Hard shirts, Peaches and Lemons beanies.
What?
Yeah, people wearing the gear.
That
And
is so cool.
it was really, really cool. And a bunch of people who were like, yeah, I kind of fell off the show, but I loved it for a while. Like a lot of people went out of their way to mention the podcast.
Aw.
And that was very, very nice. So that was very like gratifying.
I so thoroughly relate to falling off of a podcast because I will listen to things in a
Oh,
big
totally.
spurt.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I
Yeah.
feel it.
And also, like, people say that like I'm gonna be mad at them. And I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
thank you for listening." Like, some people sometimes people would come up after a show, and they'd be like, "I'm sorry I didn't buy any of your merch." And I'm like, "You came to a fucking show. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Like, thank you for being here." I'm not look, I love it when people buy merch, but I'm not, like, mad when they don't.
Yeah, how dare
Uh,
you?
how dare you? I mean, not everyone can afford it. Like,
Shit's
even buying a
expensive.
ticket shit's expensive. Buying a ticket to these shows isn't cheap. You know, you came out, you left your house to come see me and Torp and Nelward. Fucking amazing. Like, but everything else is just gravy from there. Um, and also people listen to the show at all. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
you
You
know, it's
don't have to do that, but you do,
no,
and I
yeah,
appreciate you for it.
totally. And just like the vast majority of people, like nearly everybody, just very, very cool, kind, and not just the podcast listeners, everybody. Awesome people. Loved meeting them. So great to put faces. You know, you see numbers of listens or views or whatever, and it doesn't really give you a sense of who people are.
Yeah.
And just seeing people in person and getting to chat to people, even if it's just for 30 seconds or whatever, it was the best. And it honestly, this tour meant a lot to me. Uh, across the board. Like, I also got to hang out with some of my closest friends every night for 6 weeks, which
Yeah,
is
I'm very envious of that.
Meowch called it slumber party living, which is exactly what it is. It's like every night for
Oh,
6 weeks I got to have a slumber party with my best buds, which is incredible,
I'm
right?
incredibly jealous of that. I did see on our Discord group chat last night that they were all back in the gaming saddle,
Mhm.
which I was very happy to see because I, the past couple of nights, have been watching Aaron play Fallout New Vegas.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, I saw him post about that.
yeah, which is always a joy.
Yep, but it's yeah, I'm gonna I'm still recovering. I'm gonna take a few days to, like, kinda catch up on emails and stuff, but this is one I'm gonna remember forever. For the rest of my life, both weeks. And then it's gonna be, thank you. Uh, it was incredible. And it's, certainly I would do it again. 6 weeks is a long time to be away, but it's also a testament to how much I love these guys
Mhm.
that all of us in the last night were like, feels like we could do this for months and it would be fucking still fun, which is totally
Yeah.
true.
Is that
Uh,
the longest tour you've ever done?
yeah. Yeah, by a couple weeks. I think before
That's
that it was
crazy.
about a month. Uh, Yeah, so it was nice to have 2 days in LA, a couple weeks in. That was good. Um, but I got back, when I accepted the gig, wanted to make sure I was back in time for Audrey's birthday, which I
Mhm.
am in plenty of time. So yeah, I didn't want to be away for too long, but this was good across the board for a lot of different reasons. So it was just fun time. And also, we kept a podcast going, minis, regular episodes for 6 weeks with me on the road and you recovering from a pretty fucking big injury.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that is pretty remarkable that we were able to do it too.
Yeah, it's like I can't after surgery, it was 2 weeks before I went outside for real and not just on my balcony. Like, I am so ridiculously limited right now.
Yeah.
Um, but, I'm healing up. I'm in good spirits. It is funny how, I felt 2 days before you leave for tour, and now you're back, and I feel like I am doing so much better. Um, like, I'm not in pain at all
So
anymore.
great.
Just other than, like, I can feel the gauze on my splint catching my Wolverine prongs, and that's uncomfortable, but
Hmm.
yeah.
And those come out in a couple
They will come
weeks,
out, I
in a
think,
week.
next to either next week or 2 weeks from now, and
Hmm.
I put it on my calendar when I should be able to be weight bearing again, which is, uh, the 27th, maybe. So 2 weeks from
Great.
now.
Wow. That's not bad. I mean, you've passed the worst part.
Yes, I really have, and,
And then it's back up on that roof, baby.
yeah, take 2. Yeah, no, it's been a nice, I'm fine saying this on Patreon feed. But my dad flew out a week into my break and has been here since and is leaving on Monday. So he will have been here for like 5-6 weeks, and it's been a delight. And he has been taking very good care of me, and it's just been fun and nice and healing and good. So I'm very
That's so
grateful
great.
for that. And you got to meet my dad.
Yes, a couple times. Once at
Yeah.
a show and once when we were hanging out at our place.
Yeah. He wants to have lunch before he goes, if you're available.
I am
Not just you and him, but
No. Yeah, of course. Of course, I'm available. That'd be great.
neat.
Well, I think that's a mini.
That is a
pretty
mini. We've
much.
covered good ground. I'm excited to look to see what kind of gamer makeup I can find.
Oh, yeah. There must, yeah. Well, you said that you found it. There is like makeup for gamers. There have to be.
Yeah, I see a
Although-
picture of beautiful Zelda makeup brushes, but I'm afraid they're drop shipped. So I'm going to see if I can find the real version because these are so
Yeah.
sick. I can't believe it. I'm going to text them to you.
I am a little worried about there's been kind of a major issue recently, fake gamer girls, that I think we kind of need to deal with before we get into the makeup thing.
Right.
So I'm going to do my own research on that and see what I can uncover.
Do you want me to get her a shirt that says fake gamer girl?
Honestly, that would be fucking awesome. She would definitely not wear it because she would be like, I'm a real gamer. She would be mad. Oh, this is cute. Look at this.
I'm Googling fake gamer girl shirt because
I would wear that.
I would wear it, yeah. Okay, they do exist. They're not cute, but they do exist.
Yeah, I feel like the moment for that passed, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
But
all right, anyway,
I do want everyone to be clear. It is about ethics in
Stop!
games.
See you on Friday.
That's a good stop. Bye.
Big tubular.
Late Night is produced by Brian Wecht and Leighton Gray. Sign up for our Patreon at patreon.com/LeightonNight. Follow us on Twitter at LeightonNight, on Instagram at Leighton_Night, or email us at LeightonNight@gmail.com.